All right, what's going on, people? We are back. JV Wans Dogon SS. We are here for another edition of the Conscious Approach channel on YouTube. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. We appreciate everybody for clicking on any of our videos. We certainly appreciate the engagement. We appreciate the support. So, if this is the first time you're seeing what we do here, do your boys a big old solid. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel because we do appreciate it. We do love the support, and we look very forward to being able to engage with everybody in the comments and all of that good stuff. So, uh, major shouts out to everybody who has joined us along the way, who are members of the tribe and the community. We appreciate you. We're gonna get into it. A lot of fallout from a lot of various stories going on around the world. So the first thing that we'll kick it off with is some apparent acrimony on Drake's part. So I guess the Drake and Kendrick beef, for all intents and purposes, has kind of died down a bit. And in lieu of it dying down, there are some ancillary conversations that are taking place. Apparently, Drake has moved on. He's like, I'm done with this, on to bigger and better things with my music and my career. But that's not stopping him from, putting his tea leaves out there on the internet in terms of how he feels about how the whole situation went down. And based upon his social media activity, Drake is under the impression that some of the streams that were certified, particularly by Spotify, on Kendrick Lamar's behalf, were done so artificially. His insinuation is that they are that they are certified streams of bots trying to upplay the "Not Like Us" song, so that the gap between Kendrick's listenership and Drake's listenership, at least on Spotify, can seem greater than it actually is. So Drake is kind of crying sour grapes here. He feels like Spotify needs to go in and reevaluate the streams, particularly for the "Not Like Us" song, because he believes that a lot of it is bot enhanced. So I think that we can surmise from this that Drake at least feels as though he won this thing. And at the very least, he feels as though if he didn't win, the gap wasn't as large as it appears to be, as the perception is out there. So just to provide a little bit of context, looking forward to hearing what you got to say about this, by the way. Uh, this says Drake seemingly accuses Spotify of certifying fake streams of Kendrick Lamar's "Not Like Us." Drake is still mad at Kendrick Lamar over their beef, and he has made that very clear with his internet presence after the battle wrapped up. While K. Dot filmed a music video and hosted a West Coast celebration as his victory lap, Drizzy's idea of a triumphant parade is shady IG stories and captions, voting in online polls about the best diss track from the feud, and most recently, some comments on Trainwreck TV's Kick stream last night. Hey, Pragmatic, can we take it back to 2022? He apparently wrote in chat, can you backdoor Eddie like Spotify backdoored the streams for that one song from that one guy? Obviously, that is a reference to Drake, and the one song apparently is a reference to the "Not Like Us" song. Of course, many took this to reference Kendrick Lamar's "Not Like Us," which has faced various accusations from Drake supporters of using bots to push fake streams. However, many of these claims have either been debunked or dismissed, as fans have brought up how the Mustard produced banger is #1 on Apple Music and how you apparently can't bot on that platform. As such, these theories remain purely speculative, although it's pretty likely that both artists benefited from bots and fake streams to some degree. After all, even though neither MC probably ordered this, their supporters and fans can take matters into their own hands. For that reason, discussions around fake streams and botting turn more innocuous by the day, as it becomes clear that these songs would have been massive successes either way. Also, this whole thing doesn't really matter as much as the beef itself, and both Drake and Kendrick Lamar are finding it hard to move on from it. The Six God just released two summer bangers that even one of his biggest haters proclaimed to smash hits, but it seems like it's not enough for him. So here was Drake on Academic Stream, where he said, can we take it back to 2022 and backdoor 80 like Spotify backdoored the streams for that one song from that one guy. So that's Drake's apparent side of the story. He feels like the streams were upsold by Spotify, and that bots were making it seem as though that song was getting the amount of streams that it actually did, uh, uh, was getting the streams that it did, when in actuality, it probably wasn't that much of a gap. That Lot Like Us probably didn't move the actual units that the streaming numbers would otherwise suggest. So, do you think that this is sour grapes on Drake's part? Him and his supporters, who are suggesting that this was a bot, an AI influenced perceived result, specifically when it comes to the Not Like Us song? What do you make of some of these assertions on his part?
I feel like it's just typical passive aggressive Drake. He just needs to take the L, and I think people will respect him more if he just took this on the chin and just said, I'm gonna get in the lab and do my Drake thing. He was better off doing that. But this whole charade of none of this stuff is bothering me, him trying to meme his way out of this, now with this statement here to his partner, DJ Academics, where those two are in cahoots. To me, this just screams that much like how he always moved, it's just some typical sucker stuff, bro. And I don't respect it. If you're dealing with major labels, they're all buying streams. So he's bought streams before, much like how the article said. And I'm sure Kendrick's label has their own streaming department where they make sure that things get boosted. You remember Dat Piff back in the day, bro?
Yeah.
Oh man, it was a movie. And so I didn't like that they basically held a monopoly on the mixtape game at that particular time, but you could clearly tell that these streams weren't genuine on some of these releases. Some of these guys was like, well, who the hell is this guy? And how does he have 500,000? But my favorite artist only got 50. So you could tell that people were buying that. Same thing with World Star now, where people, I don't know how it works on YouTube, but buying views. So, it's just part of promotion nowadays, unfortunately. So major labels that's behind Kendrick, I'm sure there was some type of whatever, some oomph behind it, but that thing had so much for momentum that, maybe a little breeze pushed it a little bit further, but that thing was already moving on its own train. And, I know I'm responsible for, a lot of streams, not on Spotify, but on other platforms. So it's played everywhere. I've heard it played at elementary schools, graduations, weddings. I'm sure it's being played at bar mitzvahs. So, so at this juncture, bro, you can't dispute this hit, bro. You just got to take this L. And again, I would respect him more if he, took this and was like, hey, man, good round, but this is a career long type of thing. And if he took it like that, then, I would respect him more. But again, we're dealing with Drake here, and him doing stuff that I respect is slim to none. So what are your thoughts here on Sir Drake claiming that Kendrick Lamar is out here buying streams? What are your thoughts?
When this first started and we first, talked about it here, kind of giving our opinions of it, I remember saying way back in the beginning that my belief was that Drake was going to be perceived to be the winner. I thought that Drake was going to be declared the winner in the long run, because my thinking was Drake is such a powerful force of mainstream machinery. He's got such a large machine behind him, and he makes so much mainstream mass appeal music. He's all over the place with the number one hits, and he's got all of the jingles and the hotline blings and the, you know, for freeze and all of the songs. He's got all of these features. He's everywhere in terms of his mass appeal, that I thought he would be declared the winner because he would make the most jingle worthy, catchy, mass appeal songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in this era with microwave music, people have deprioritized substance in music and have sort of upsold just catchiness and singy songy melodic type music, which is what Drake specializes in. And I thought because he specialized in what the masses largely respond to, he'd be the winner. Not because he made the better music, but because his approach to making music is what resonates most with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that he would be declared the winner. Now, I was pleasantly surprised to see that I was incorrect about that. And apparently, the audience seems to sort of not be jiving with Drake's side of this, especially on the music front. But I think on Drake's end, he's probably thinking along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all of these hits. He's got the right foot stomp, left foot, whatever that song is called, Tootsie Slide. So Drake has got all of the Tootsie Slides, and he's got all of the hotline blings, and he's got the Rihanna features. He's got all of the DJ Khaled features. He's all over the place with the God's Plans, and he's just got all of the mass appeal songs, the Sexyy Reds, My Sexy Baby Daddy, and all of these other songs. So he's just making all of the dogs musics and all of the mass appeal, cotton candy music, as Joe Budden likes to call it. No, Joe Budden calls it Chuck E. Cheese rhymes.
Well, yeah.
So Drake is all over the place making the Chuck E. Cheese rhymes, and the audience loves their Drake Chuck E. Cheese music. They love the easily consumable, mass-produced, GMO-laden, Chuck E. Cheese pizza. That's what they like. You stick it in the oven for 5 minutes and it's done. Boom. That's what the audience loves. So Drake is probably thinking to himself, "Hey man, I make the stuff that the people want better than he does. Why should I believe that there wasn't some bot, enhanced trickery going on?" In his mind, he probably thinks that he did win, but there was some other kind of tomfoolery taking place that propelled Kendrick from a number standpoint to victory.
Mm-hmm.
Because for no other reason, he probably really felt as though he had the numbers angle of this in his back pocket. He was going to be able to make the songs that snapped the most in the club. He was going to be able to make the songs that the women liked the most. He was going to make the songs with the most memorable, catchy rhymes that he probably didn't write. So all of those things he had working in his favor, he's probably looking at the landscape of the listenership and saying, "I got this in the bag." And when it was revealed that he, in fact, didn't have it in the bag, he's finding it difficult to reconcile the defeat. And so now he's kind of, gasping for air, trying to figure out what the hell happened. I would imagine, this is speculation on my part. Obviously, I don't know Drake, but this is just my opinion. I feel as though he's looking at it similar to the way that I initially analyzed this, saying, "I'm the jingle guy. I'm the singy, songy, melodic guy. I'm the guy who makes all of the catchy songs. I'm the guy who makes the singing ballads. I'm the guy who makes the songs that the ladies like. So I can take this approach into this battle, and despite being up against an adversary who's superior in every way in terms of lyrics and rhymes and rapping and actual hip hop stuff, I can still win that because, I know, despite what everyone says in terms of what hip hop people like, what they're actually going to respond to." And it looks like he was wrong, but he's probably thinking in his mind, "I'm the numbers guy. I'm the numbers king in this equation. And if I'm the numbers king in this equation, how can the numbers king possibly lose a numbers battle?" It just doesn't make sense. To him, it's not computing. So I can understand how his brain is processing this, but you can't fake the funk. And like I said, I'm happy I was wrong, because it just looks like what did end up resonating with the people is authenticity and actual music, which is backed by what the semblance from a core standpoint of the culture is supposed to be. And it just looks like he's trying to figure out ways to reconcile the result. And his latest attempt to reconcile the result is bot upstreams on Spotify. I think he's going to have to bark up a different tree.
Well, I mean, he's a narcissist, an egomaniac, and he's got one of the biggest, if not the largest, ego that the rap game has ever seen. And because of how entitled he is, how much backing he knows that he has, he's been going around doing whatever the hell he wants for the last decade or so. As far as railroading people's careers, taking people's songs, just having a whole fake persona. And for him to believe in that persona, again, you have to be on some next level type of narcissism and, egocentric type behaviors. And so with this being such a humbling experience, he can't compute it. And so we're watching cognitive dissonance in real time. In 4K, this guy is melting in front of everybody. And to me, it's hilarious. And this is just because, again, when you build your foundation on sand like this guy did, by getting handouts, again, stealing all type of stuff, faking the funk, yeah, he had the biggest property on the lot, but again, he used slave labor, built it on a crappy foundation, no integrity. So as soon as the first weathering storm came and hit it for real, yeah, it's collapsing. And so, yeah, and he was out there in front of the yard, in front of the lawn, beating his chest, talking about something. Yeah, I got the best house. I got the biggest house. Check me out. Nothing can take this down. And yeah, and he got his stuff wrecked. So again, I'm here for that. And I was hoping that Kendrick would do this, and he did it. Right now, it's persona non grata to be around here posting Drake stuff and being like, yeah, what I'm saying? You're team Drake right now because people gonna look at you sideways. I just saw a TikTok last night where KD was spotted at a Drake party. Then in the comment section, people was like, ain't no party like a Drake party, ain't, and they're out here calling him out like, hey, bro, why you out there? but honestly, KD's been having a strange off season. I'm not too sure what he's got going on, from shooting jumpers in the club and other weird things he's been spotted doing. But yeah, man, Drake, this to people, this should be a cautionary tale and an example. Nobody's out here being Drake like, let's be honest. But we do have our own egos and our own ways of not being humble. And sometimes life is going to come around and give you a weather storm that's going to show your resolve and see how humble you really are. And sometimes you really got to take the L and admit the L and pick yourself up and go in the right direction instead of kicking and screaming and hollering foul, because nobody likes that person. And so again, Drake is just being that person that nobody likes yet again, just in another fashion. So he's going to continue to tell on himself. So long as he doesn't have solid integrity, he's going to keep making these sleight of hand, passive aggressive moves. So best of luck to you, Drake. But it's always Team Kendrick over here. So, kick rocks.
Yeah, shouts out to Joe Budden. I referenced him earlier. I was listening to a recent episode of his podcast, and he was talking about how Drake really was the symbolization of the true battle going on between these two, which was culture people versus numbers people. I'm paraphrasing there. You can go ahead and check out Joe Budden's latest episode of his show. But he put it pretty succinctly, and I do agree. And like I said before, I was pleasantly surprised because generally speaking, and we don't just see this in music, we see this as well in sports too, where the modicum of success basically just becomes like any modicum of success, whether we're talking about sports, music, or anything else, tends to get trivialized down to numbers. So it's like, what did this person do? What was their contribution? And none of that is relevant if the other person is putting up better numbers. It's the LeBron factor. We got ushered into this era of counting the stat sheet because LeBron was putting up his numbers all the time, and so the idea was LeBron has to be better because look at the stat sheet, look at his numbers. And like you see the same thing in music too, where it's like who sold the most records, who's doing the best on streams, who has the most number one streams on these platforms. And so that's what ends up getting attributed to better. And there's a conflation taking place that really doesn't actually exist because numbers and prolifery does not necessarily equate to substance and what's better. And what we're seeing taking place with this particular situation is the universe being put back into its proper order, in which there is a separation between numbers and substance. And when it comes to a direct beef, so to speak, numbers are less relevant than actual substance. And like I said before, I was pleasantly surprised to see that substance won out because I was someone who was cynical and believed that Drake was going to be the winner in all of this because he just do the big he do the biggest numbers. And I wasn't rooting for Drake in all of this, obviously.
Yeah.
It was just my belief in the culture or lack thereof. I just look at the culture and I have less and less faith in it overall. And I think all people care about is, consuming, biodegradable, music, even at the expense of authenticity. So I'm glad to see that I was wrong in that regard. And I do agree with Joe Budden when he says that it really wasn't about Drake. It was really about culture versus numbers. Drake just happened to be the linchpin on the number side of it. I'm just glad that, at least in this standpoint, in this instance, the universe was corrected. So I'm glad to see that it played out that way. And I, like you, just would, I do think that Drake would serve himself well if he just said, it is what it is. And now I'm going to go back to making my jingles and my pre-written, ghost-written rhymes.
Yeah, and the awesome part about it is he'll never be humble enough to do that, and so he's going to continue to wreck himself until perpetuity. So I'm going to enjoy it. This type of demeanor, this type of attitude, it doesn't belong within the culture. So so long as he keeps this mess up, so long as he exposes himself. So keep it up, Drake. Keep it up. Keep
it up. You're actually doing the world a tremendous service there, Drake. Helping us all out, man. Shouts out to Kendrick. Shouts out to Kendrick. Shouts out to Joe Budden too, man. Killing in the podcast game. Now we're going to talk about MC Lyte, who has decided to come to the defense of Sexyy Red. MC Lyte believes that Sexyy Red gets a little too much criticism, a little too much flack for her suggestive content in her music. She feels like, Sexyy Red just gets a little too much heat for that. Kind of the way that she carries herself, the stuff that she talks about in her music, her behavior overall, some of what a lot of critics in the pop culture space are sort of using Sexyy Red as an example of some of the things that are wrong with society and the music and the perpetuation of certain themes, right? So Sexyy Red has sort of become the personification for a lot of those criticisms. And MC Lyte thinks that it's a bit too heavy-handed. She thinks that Sexyy Red gets a little too much flack for this kind of stuff. So a lot of content came out of the BET Awards, and this was one of them. This was an interview that took place during the BET Awards, media availability, where MC Lyte sort of lent her voice to this particular topic. So this says MC Lyte thinks Sexyy Red gets too much hate for her lewd music. Sexyy Red's superstardom rolls alongside a lot of criticism over her raunchy content and presentation, which has sadly never been an uncommon reaction to femcees. One of the most legendary female rappers of all time, MC Lyte, recently reflected on this history during an interview with the Neighborhood Talk at BET's Media House. ahead of their award show this Sunday, which took place a couple days ago, June 30th. However, it's important to note that her comments on the St. Louis MC don't really seek to answer the question of whether or not this should be an approach that women in hip hop continue to engage with. Rather, it calls out double standards and a lack of historical context and knowledge that leads to unjust vilification. So this goes into her quote, but I'm just going to play what she says so that you can hear it for herself. So this is her being asked about Sexyy Red and her giving her thoughts on why Sexyy Red gets a little too much criticism nowadays.
As though you are a female rapper. A lot of talk about Sexyy Red and her content. She gets a lot of backlash. People feel like it's too vulgar or, oh my God, the kids are listening to this. What are your thoughts when you see things like that?
Nothing that we see is really new. And so, we've all lived through the advent of My Neck, My Back, Trina, Kim, Foxy, so we lived that. So nothing surprises us, I don't think, as an artist, as a creator. Everyone's always pushing the limits and the boundaries, but also she didn't pop out of a planet. She came from a neighborhood where this is how they speak to one another. This is how they communicate. And so this is definitely art imitating life. And I think it's important for people to know that it appears to me that she's being herself. Whenever you're being yourself, like, how can anybody argue with
Lord have mercy. No, she
All
did.
right. So her overall point there is that it's art imitating life, so
Oh,
she's not making anything up, and that she's being herself. And so in this day and age, why would anyone hate on her being herself?
we
So, this has sparked some debate going back and forth. You got people who agree with MC Lyte and you got people who don't. Do you buy any of what she's selling when it comes to Sexyy Red?
hell no. I'm very disappointed. I don't listen to MC Lyte's interviews in the past or anything. Like, I don't know her as a person, to know what her worldviews are. I'm surprised to hear her say this. So, well, not surprised, disappointed to hear her say this. Now, MC Lyte has she has a alternative lifestyle. She lives differently. She always has, as far as I'm concerned. So for her to be saying these things, I'm not too shocked, in the sense that she was always in the industry, so to speak, always around the industry. She's seen a lot, and she thinks that this is okay because it's just an artist doing artist things. So to me, this is her not being in touch with reality anymore, which is sad. If we, at this point, man, nobody can debate it at this point, the impact that music has on development of people. She's saying that these people are talking like this from where she's from, but then she listed a whole bunch of rappers in the 90s, in the early 2000s, that was promoting raunchy type of rap. And so when that type of stuff is going on and it's hypersexualized, male rappers do their thing too, but we're sticking with the female stuff at this point. When it's hypersexualized at that point, it does become, at that point, a part of the culture's heartbeat algorithm. And they go out there and they start mimicking and acting as that. And then there's somebody that's born in the mid 90s or wherever she was born, late 90s, and then she's born into this environment where this is already going down because, well, this is what we do in our community, this is how our women talk. And so then you get a child like Sexyy Red who grows up and talking like that and acting like that. But let's be honest here, she didn't get her deal because of her talent. what the hell can she do? She can't even rap for real. And this is just another industry plant that was sent here to promote corner store, ratchet rap. You know what I'm saying? Like lot lizard behavior. And so this is the type of stuff that the industry wants to promote. So they found themselves somebody that's willing to do and say anything. And she's that person. So for MC Lyte to sit here and say that she shouldn't, people should respect her for her art. What art? This is an art. So to me, this is nothing but mind control, and it promotes the wrong type of thinking in our community, and it needs to be reprimanded. And we don't need to keep giving these people passes. So I don't care who you are. I don't care how high up in the pantheon you may be, MC Lyte. But to me, this was a sellout ass statement, if you ask me. This was a go along to get along statement, if you ask me. And there was no integrity behind that. Whenever they asked Mos Def about Drake, he was skating around it, but he said what he had to say and he got his point across. But for her to sit there and cape and act like Sexyy Red is doing some service to the community with her bars because she got art and she's doing something artistic that's reflecting her reality is bogus.
Right. She's being herself. Right.
Yeah. Bogus. Oh yeah, she being herself. They found her in some parking lot. They found her on some corner with Newports. You know what I'm saying? But they was like, hey, this is what we want to promote. So she is being who she is, an absolute ratchet. But they gave her money and a platform. Why would they do such a thing? So sorry, MC Lyte. I can't agree with this. Highly disappointed in you. And whatever tier talk I would have and throw you in there. Yeah, man, you getting lumped in the clown category after that one. Sorry. But what are your thoughts, sir, on MC Lyte saying that, hey, Sexyy Red just being herself and a true artist, giving art to the game? Stop hating on her. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that what she said is factual, but that doesn't make it okay. Like, just because something is true, it doesn't mean that you have to just accept it without doing a deeper dive to, sort of analyze whether it's okay and what you can do to sort of improve it, right? So like there are a lot of things that are true. That doesn't mean that you just sit back and allow it to persist. So what she's saying is correct. She is indeed probably a product of her environment, and wherever she comes from, they probably do speak that way, and they probably do behave that way towards one another. In a vacuum, what she is saying isn't incorrect. The question, though, because she's a champion of hip hop, MC Lyte is one of these individuals who will always ride for hip hop no matter what, right? You can consider her old school. She goes back to the 80s. If there's a conversation about hip hop juxtaposed to other genres of music, or if there's a conversation in which anyone is talking about the contributions that hip hop has made to society at large for the better, how it's changed the world and made things better, she's on the front lines with those conversations. She's one of those champions of hip hop to the death. She'll always ride for it. So as a medium, as an art form, as a music form, you champion hip hop is more than anybody that I can think, not more than anybody, amongst the most of anybody who I can think of. And so if you champion the music that much, but you also understand that Sexyy Red is a product of her environment, therefore she shouldn't be getting too much criticism because she's being her authentic self and it's art imitating life, then I think it pays to have a deeper conversation as to why it seems to be apparent that this industry, that this art form, that this genre that you champion so much seems to prioritize propping up artists like her to sort of create this ideal within the tapestry of the music that this is its culture, and therefore this is the culture of the people who make the music.
Mhm.
MC Lyte obviously does not speak for everybody who is a part of hip hop, obviously, and she doesn't represent everybody who listens to it, and nor does she represent everyone who makes it. But in my opinion, and I'm only saying this being somebody who has been, I'm almost 40. So at this point, I've been listening to this stuff for a long time. And I've sort of seen the differences in trends over time. Was there always a Foxy Brown, a Lil Kim? Yes. Have there always been Kaya's and who else? Some of these raunchy rappers from back in the day.
Yeah,
Have these
Trina.
people always have these people always existed? Trina's or whatever. I think she mentioned Trina. Yeah,
Yes, she
like
did.
have there always been these people? Sure. But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, there has always been a decent enough counterpoints to sort of offset the kind of content that they were putting out there. So there was a greater abundance, in my opinion, of Lauryn Hills back in the day to offset whatever Lil Kim was doing. There was a greater abundance back in the day of Jean Grey's, in my opinion, to offset whatever Foxy Brown was doing. You got enough of a balance of different perspectives and presentations within the music to be able to gain a reasonable perspective of the overall tapestry of the culture and the music. In my opinion, I think that overall tapestry no longer exists. And I think the majority of what we are being given from a female rap standpoint is Sexyy Red. Is that Sexyy Red's fault? Not necessarily. It is the industry which MC Lyte loves so much. It is that it's the industry as an entity's fault in terms of why is it that this seems to be what we are getting in greater abundance. I mean, I listen to radio a lot. Sirius XM. I'll be
Mm.
listening to a lot of the Shade 45s and Hip Hop Nation. A lot of the music that comes on those stations, and they play the music uncensored, unedited, and all of that good stuff. And I know that each of these artists, if you want to use that term, have their differences.
Mm.
But from a content standpoint, I really can't tell the difference when I'm listening to Sexyy Red or when I'm listening to Lotto or when I'm listening to Cardi B or even not oftentimes if you want to throw Nicki Minaj in there. Like I'm really not hearing the difference. I really don't hear the difference between any of them and like Glorilla. I don't hear the difference. Tonally, a lot of their delivery and a lot of the substance of their quality, of their content is the same. And one can argue they all come from their environments and they all are making music in which art imitates life as well. So they fall into the same boat. So I think the question that people need to be asking for anyone who is discomforted by this is why does it seem as though this is the kind of music that we are getting from these female artists in such tremendous abundance? Why does it seem as though juxtaposed to previous generations, there seems to be a lack of balance overall, where I don't have enough opportunities to hear female artists giving me something different so that I can say, okay, well, Sexyy Red makes that. Okay, well, this artist makes this. And if I guess you can throw R&B artists in there to sort of create that balance, but I'm talking specifically about rappers. I'm talking specifically about these people who make this hip hop music. I don't see enough of the balance in order to be able to gain a rich enough perspective of the overall tapestry of the culture. And I think for most reasonable people who critique Sexyy Red, you want to argue that it's unfair or unreasonable to go at Sexyy Red and use her as the sole example for what's going on. Fine, whatever. Fill in the blank with any of these other artists. The truth of the matter is, tonally, there seems to be a consistent theme inherent within the content of a lot of the music of these individuals. And so that's the greater question. And for MC Lyte, someone who champions hip hop so much to the degree that she does, I get it because it's given her everything. She's old school, she's in her 50s. I wouldn't expect her to go against any rapper no matter who it is, or to go against the grain when it comes to hip hop. I've already told you this before. I don't expect any of these people to be critical because they're too afraid to do so. They don't think for themselves most often. There are a lot of group thinkers who believe that the genre can do no wrong no matter what. So I don't expect her to not go to bat for Sexyy Red. I would have been shocked if she had, uh, sort of endorsed the criticism. But I think people in her position owe it to themselves and to the community and the culture at large to be honest about the diversity of thought inherent in the music and why it seems as though Sexyy Red seems to be the prevailing wisdom. Like, yeah, everything you're saying is true, MC Lyte. Everything you're saying is true. But that is not independent of any of the rest of these artists. All of the rest of these female rappers are also a product of their environment. Yet we are seeing the tone of their music be popularized to a degree that we don't see with other forms of content. And I don't think that it is unreasonable for someone to ask the question why.
Yeah, it's disproportionate, and the scale is tipped over, and it's quite obvious to the point to where I'm sure there's young ladies, much like how young men back in the day who felt like they had to talk about crime and selling drugs. Now young ladies gonna have to, if they did have some regular bars, they're gonna have some scandalous stuff in there. I'm pretty sure some young lady, feeling conflicted, because of all of this, and then probably putting some thought bars in there just so it can hit the masses the right way, unfortunately. And at this point, that's when art starts to be mimicking reality at that point. But so for her to sit here and say this, because I've heard Andre 3000 talk about Future's music. Now Future just talks about shooting people and selling drugs and all type of debauchery. And Andre 3000, they was asking him about that, and he said that he used to have a problem with whatever Future did, but then he realized that Future was capturing a certain kind of pain that's going on in our community or whatever, and he makes like songs and stuff like that for that. And so in a way, he didn't say get off Future's back. He didn't say whatever. He's saying that he understands the pocket in which that Future's working in, and that it's serving a purpose type of thing. And there's a way for her to have answered this instead of saying that get off of Sexyy Red's back. And she could have given an industry-esque kind of answer where, she could have directed the energy towards the industry itself, that they're promoting a lot of this stuff right now. And this is a young lady that's, whoop-de-whoop, and, it's just another way she could have did it instead of saying that, hey, leave her alone. She's just being herself, y'all. And it's like, man, that's so you don't mind our community mimicking this,
Right?
point.
It's lazy. It's lazy logic. Yeah.
You don't mind that. Then these young ladies just say, I'm just being myself, which is like Suki Hana and Sexyy Red. And man. So this music's being played everywhere by everybody, unfortunately. The community at large, I think they're starting to catch wind of this mess, but at the same time, you'll still see comment sections where there's a Sexyy Red thing going on, and all the bops in the world are sitting there saying that, but how can you not love her though? He's like, why would I love this? And what realm are you living in for you to be loving this? What are you seeing, for the community? How do you view the community? How do you view what this stuff is? That's what I'm saying. It's so many people that's caught up, in the sauce, up in the matrix, that when you try to tell them that an agent like Sexyy Red is really the reason why our community is going to stay in the matrix for future generations, because she's talking to the children. She ain't just talking to y'all. At this point, if you can't see that, then at that point, I don't want to hear your opinion. So for MC Lyte to sit here and to cape for her like that, I can't get with that. But I would just chalk this up to her being an industry-ite. She still must rub elbows, hang out, and do all this other stuff with these people. She ain't gonna throw nobody under the bus, so she's gonna have to see somebody later.
Right.
And so she gave that kind of political ass answer. And that's how you know somebody ain't they've sold out. And if you can't speak for yourself, then you still got people running you. And so, yeah, man, I don't care for that. Yeah, I don't want to hear any more opinions. At least socially, I don't.
Yeah, I feel you, and for all we know, she could genuinely think this, but I wouldn't know the difference because she sounds no different than any other person who, if you remove her from that seat and replace her with that person and ask them that same exact question, we would have gotten the same exact answer, because these people are never critical. They never go to bat for any dissenting opinion, because the idea is we need to support the genre and support the music at all costs. So even if something is worth being critiqued, we're not going to do it because it serves as a disservice to call some of these artists out, even though ultimately calling some of these individuals out serves the greater good, in my opinion. But yeah, it's another example of being too chicken shit to be critical. They'll never do it. And the idea that it's always been this way, therefore it's okay or excusable.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
It's such lazy logic to me, because just because it's always been here doesn't mean you can't evolve from it and learn a better way, right? Yes, certain things have always been here. So what? That doesn't make it any less palpable from a negativity standpoint. There have always been drug and gun bars in male rap. Always. It's been around since the early 90s, mostly. But when Jeezy came along, the tone of it completely shifted. It completely shifted. And I can't put a definition on it. I couldn't write down how, but you know exactly what I mean. Anybody who remembered what the drug and dope, boy rhymes was like before Jeezy, and the way it sort of transitioned in the wake of Jeezy's surge, knows that there was a drastic shift tonally in terms of that kind of music being made.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of copycats who decided to get into the game and copy Jeezy's formula, to the point where there were so many of these individuals doing it repeatedly that it normalized it to the point where it just became something that was ingrained in the music. Similar to what we're talking about with Sexyy Red, where it's like, now if you're trying to get on and you're a male rapper, you have to make sure you meet your quota of talking about selling drugs and shooting people in the songs. And when it gets to a point where it's that formulaic, it's worth revisiting the conversation as to whether we need a little more balance. I'm not even trying to say that it needs to go away or disappear, because I would admit begrudgingly that Future does have a place within this ecosystem, just like I would admit Sexyy Red has a place within the ecosystem. But what makes me uncomfortable is the lack of balance, when all that is getting popularized is the Sexyy Reds and the Futures of the world. Where are the antitheses of what they are doing in order to provide enough of a balanced idea of what this kind of music can represent? I feel like that aspect of the conversation is eroding. And I wish people who are in MC Lyte's position would lend their voices to that. But she's kind of grandfathered in, or grandmothered in rather, to the round table of, hip hop canon. And these people can't, speak ill. They can't be critical. They can't be critical. And the only way that you can be critical is if you were somebody who was sort of on the fringes, who wasn't huge in their day. And so you stand to lose nothing by being critical, because there's nothing that they can take away from you for doing so. So that's why That's why somebody like Nikki D can call out Ice Spice for prostitution rap, because in her day, Nikki D wasn't what MC Lyte was. So there's nothing that can be taken away from her in retrospect. So she doesn't give a damn. She can be critical, because what can you take away from her as punishment? She won't have a penance to pay. MC Lyte is not in that same position. And unfortunately, you know, she won't be critical as a result. But I wish somebody would be critical, because it deserves to be a part of it deserves to be a greater part of the conversation. Why is that being popularized more than anything else? I don't think that that's an unreasonable question to ask.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say, and I agree with that, to speak on the Nikki D thing, and Nikki D wasn't to the she's not in there where people start listing names, because at least for me, if I started listing names in the 90s, I'm starting with Queen Latifah and then MC Lyte first. All right. Nikki D honestly wasn't even on my list until we covered her, and I was like, oh yeah, that's who Nikki D is. Like, I forgot about her, or and so, but MC Lyte is one of those people that played the industry, like I said earlier, and she kept her foot in the game for whatever that looks like. So she went to enough Diddy parties. She went to enough whatever industry stuff. Like, she's always always been around, but in the background, but around. But, the other old head people that were in the industry, but not of the industry, are gone. And then they'll unmute like a Nikki D and then say something profound. But when you still rubbing elbows with these people and you still doing all of this other stuff, yeah, you're going to talk that talk. And that's why I don't respect that. And I didn't even think MC Lyte was in that area. I thought she was more or less of a person that saw the world in a more conscientious fashion. But for her,
she's a dignitary. She's a dignitary.
I can't. I didn't know that. You know. And so that's why this is catching me off. And it's just like, hey, well, I don't want to hear what you got to say. If this is what you got to say about Sexyy Red, then I don't want to hear what you have to say about anything else. Because at that point, you're just going to be toting the company line yet again. And I don't want to hear that. That's not a old head in the game to give wisdom. That's an old head in the game, just like the gang member, the what did he call that guy? Not the I forgot what they call him. The OG, the one that got they give the young guys the drugs, to get them hooked on drugs, then go out there and tell them to go off somebody, putting them in position to go hurt themselves just so they can still be in this position of calling shots and being that person. That's what this is. It's like gang stuff. And so I wouldn't listen to that person. I don't trust that person. So sorry, MC Lyte, again. Sheesh. I didn't know you felt this way. But over here, at least in the Dogon hip hop museum, your stuff is getting removed. So your stuff is getting removed from my museum. But hey, man, teach their own, I guess. But for anybody out there that does have a mind, it is okay to dislike this stuff. She can be this person all she want, but there's people in the insane asylum being who they want. You ain't going to sit there and listen to them, are you? Right. All right. This lady's yet to be diagnosed. That's all we doing. And she running out here making anthems for people out there to follow her footsteps. So if y'all want to go ahead and do that, be my guest. But I'll align with the people that's okay to feel like this stuff is garbage and destroying our community.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep, I agree. I don't think it's unreasonable for anybody to say, can we have a conversation about the lack of balance with the music? Now, if you're a hardcore fan, you're going to be able to find your community. You're going to be able to find your niche. You can create your own playlist. You can customize everything. You can create an audio bubble for yourself in which you're only listening to what you want to listen to. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the overall impact that the music is having on the world and on culture and society, it's all about what's mainstreamed and what's popularized. And right now there's a lack of balance. And I don't think it's unreasonable for people to point to artists like Sexyy Red to question the lack of balance. I don't think that that's unreasonable. Not that it's Sexyy Red's fault, but there needs to be a conversation about the lack of balance. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Next time, MC Lyte. Next time, do better.
She going on mute next time. I don't want to hear.
Now we're going to talk about Bronny James and LeBron James and the ongoing conversation around nepotism. So this has been ever since Bronny got drafted by the Lakers. He was the 55th pick, right? I think he was the 55th pick selected by the Lakers round 2,
That's right.
which, that confirmed everyone under the sun speculation at the draft that the Lakers are going to draft Bronny so that they can be the first father and son, people to play together in the league at the same time, much less on the same team. There's been an ongoing conversation about problems with nepotism. They've been talking about it on all the shows. They was talking about it on First Take. They was talking about it on the Fox shows. Is everywhere. So we're going to go ahead and give our thoughts on this particular angle of this conversation here. But first, to set the stage, here's a bit of an op-ed that was written in USA Today of an individual giving their opinion on Bronny being in the NBA, being drafted by the Lakers, how it's nepotism, and why there shouldn't be a problem with that. So this says, yes, Bronny James is benefiting from nepotism. So what? After Bronny James was drafted by the Lakers, putting him on the same team as his dad, an ESPN insider said something that resonated with me. It was in response to the uproar about LeBron, Bronny, and nepotism. I didn't understand why there was so much uproar about it when nepotism is the NBA way, when it's the American way. This insider put it all in perfect perspectives. I don't want to hear these charges. People talking about nepotism. The NBA is full of nepotism, Adrian Wojnarowski said. The ownership level, front offices, coaching. I don't want to hear it all of a sudden because Bronny James' father plays for the Lakers. It is rampant in this league. It's rampant not just in the NBA, it's rampant everywhere. Nepotism is a mechanism mainly for the powerful and has been for centuries. It's almost canon. It's also not just the super rich. A middle-class dad gets his son a job in the company where he works. The 2010 U.S. Census outlined just how extensive nepotism is in the country. It said that 22% of men whose fathers were present in their teenage years will work for the same employer simultaneously as their fathers. There isn't a part of society where you don't see it. Donald Trump's administration was full of family members and lackeys. He took nepotism to levels no one has ever seen and likely will never see again. The NFL is rife with nepotism. There are enough Belichicks to fill an NBA coaching staff. Sports broadcasting overflows with it. There's nepotism in officiating. It's all over sports. Shedeur Sanders plays for his father, Dion, at Colorado. Austin Rivers played for his father, Doc, while both were with the Los Angeles Clippers. USA Today Sports' NFL Coaches Project examined nepotism in the league in 2022. 12 of the 34 NFL head coaches, including 2 interim coaches, were related to current or former ones. Of the 717 on-field coaches that season, at least 93 or 13% had a father, son, or brother who was a current or former NFL coach. Hollywood is so full of Nepo babies that Vulture created a flowchart and called it the Hollywood Nepoverse. The Bronny-specific criticism in this level of nepotism is different because he's going to get a roster spot because of his dad. That kind of parsing is just silly. Nepotism is nepotism. There's nothing different about this than Cowboys owner Jerry Jones having several of his kids working in his team's front office. The James family is actually using a low-grade form of nepotism compared to some of the other forms of it. This is nothing. So y'all can go ahead and continue reading that if you want. All relevant links that we use for our videos are in the description of this video, so you can go ahead and check that out for yourself. But this is obviously someone who is a proponent for this, who does not care about the nepotism angle because everybody's doing it. Stephen A. Smith says similar things. Who cares? Everyone does it. I don't want to hear about that. Obviously, Stephen A. Smith brought in the race angle, suggesting that people who have a problem with this simply have a problem with this because they are threatened by black people who can exercise. So it is never a dull day in sports media when Stephen A. Smith cannot race bait in this way.
I love
but that was his angle, and everyone else seemingly is on board with this, that any sort of outcry when it comes to nepotism over Bronny James being drafted needs to be silenced because everyone does it. So this shouldn't be a problem. What do you make of the nepotism part of the conversation surrounding Bronny James getting drafted by the Lakers?
Well, I mean, I love the fact that this person brought up all these examples to justify why nepotism is okay and we shouldn't care about it. But in all of those industries where they were naming all of this nepotism going on, I will also argue that the quality of these products are also going down. And when you're dealing with people who aren't qualified to be in positions to be doing some heavy lifting, but they're not qualified to do so, then naturally the quality of your product is going to fall off. I don't know how many times we've seen examples of TV, movies, or whatever, where the grandfather who ran the company, who was holding it down. What was that? What was that movie with Farley in it? Chris Farley in it. Black
I
Sheep.
know. No, that wasn't Black. Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy,
Tommy
yeah,
Boy.
there you go. Yeah, in a situation like that where he got it on lock. He been doing this. He know all the trade routes. He do all these things. He was making it work, But then naturally, the one that came up under that had life easier, didn't take that route. Now, that's okay at times or whatever. You want to look out for your family, whatever. But sometimes you can put your business in the wrong hands. And so they mentioned Hollywood like that's a good thing and that there's a Nepo universe. Well, yeah, that's why acting has gone down. That's why screenwriting has gone down, in my opinion. It's too much. It's too many people in there that's in there because it's a club instead of who's talented. Much like how we were talking about the last topic with Sexyy Red and no balance in the game. They keep putting in all these crazy people out there that don't have talent to serve an agenda instead of serving the art form itself. So for the basketball purists, people like myself who are complaining about this, we're just trying to uphold the integrity of the game that we love watching, that we already see falling by the wayside. There's a lot of guys that's in the NBA right now or on their way to the NBA that have either fathers or whatever that played in the league. And I know that there's grace with that too. I understand that there's grace because that's whoever's son and potential and whatever. And some of those guys may have or gotten drafted or got positions that they air quote didn't deserve because of who their father was. I'm sure that has gone on in history as well. But those guys worked their way out of the league in 1 or 2 years, And so it's rare when those guys actually sit there and stick. We're starting to see more examples of it now where these guys are sticking because they're actually talented.
Right.
So the situation here with Bronny is that his high school is a mystery. I can go down and I can click on anybody's mixtape, a guy that was, ranked, 35th overall in the country. He's got a crazy mixtape going, but there's not too many things out there. There's stuff out there with Bronny, and he was playing a lot of popular games and stuff, but he wasn't that kid out there that was doing that level of domination on that level. And if you watch any NBA player and you watch their high school stuff, they're literally flying all over the place. And it's crazy stuff. Now, there's guys that didn't do all that outrageous stuff and still made it in the league. But the point I'm trying to make here is that, and on no level did he show that he was better than his competition. And now he's going to be playing with guys that are professionals. And he was playing in guys' age group. So my issue with this is for Bronny. My concerns for this young man being thrust in this position where he could be ready in 2 or 3 years, but right now he's not. And when he goes out there, and I don't know how this is going to work. I know it's going to be a sideshow, and the Lakers are in this only for the money. And the conversations are out there, but them signing these two, they're going to make this money tenfold. So they don't care. They don't care about winning. They're in here for their little Disney show that they're going to put on out there. Documentaries, movies going to get made about this. It's all kinds of shenanigans. And the Lakers' legacy is going to be tied to this because they're going to be in all the movies and stuff like that, documentaries in the future where this rare phenomenon happened, But, just ask me this. How many athletes do you know? All right. Not even just, scraping the surface. This guy's 40. and he's going to be into his contract. As you say, he might be signing a 2 or 3 year deal. And last thing I'll say is, what athlete that can play like this still? And I'll let you, fill in the blank there. And then I'm telling you right now, the league is going to rig this. They're going to have this tryout season next year when he's doing his farewell tour, and they win a championship. It's written. Nah, bro, it's already written, bro. So they're gonna mail this year in. This is the JJ Redick excuse season. This is the Bronny excuse season. They're gonna position themselves for his farewell tour. They're gonna win it all. And he's gonna ride off. Yeah, he's gonna ride off into the sunset, bro. I'll put cash on this. I'm telling you, this is the script. And when they do this, when I tell you I'm going to ban the NBA, I will ban it. I'm already on my way now. But what are your thoughts, sir, of nepotism getting crazy in the NBA and them saying that, hey, man, it's all good because, well, everybody does it.
I cannot believe you. I can't believe you went that far.
No,
they're gonna win. They're gonna win the championship.
Not this year,
bro. I know what you. I know what you said. If that happens, I'm done. I'm done.
I'll quit.
I am done. Not to come to LeBron's defense, because I am a certified LeBron hater. Although other people use that word, I just say I tell the truth. But whatever, semantics. I think that the people who are saying people need to calm down with the nepotism stuff. So here's how I think about this. There's a big part of me, right, that says talent should be given an equal opportunity, blah, 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 all that good stuff, right? But I've also very well documented in my stance that I don't believe that there's a such thing as fair. I don't believe in fairness. Fairness doesn't exist. You get what you can in life based upon what you can work to earn and through your relationships. By hook or by crook, the world is constructed that way. I will agree with you, however, because the world is constructed that way, it does lead itself to a deterioration of quality, potentially. I do concede that point for sure. I think for every example of a success story, because like you look at Kyle Shanahan, right? That's nepotism all day. Like Kyle Shanahan wouldn't be where he is if it wasn't for his daddy. Mm-hmm. But I would also argue Kyle Shanahan is good at his job. I think he knows what he's doing as a coach. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like it's water under the bridge, because even though he got there because of his dad, he's earned his stripes because he does have the intellect, the mental capacity, the temperament, the fortitude for that job in that position. So it worked out. But for every example of Kyle Shanahan, there's a Jim Buss. Somebody who was the son of the owner got thrusted into that position because of nepotism and nearly ran the team into the ground. Jim Buss was a horrible owner during his tenure for the Lakers. Almost ruined the franchise until they booted him out of there and Jeannie took over. And I would argue Jeannie's doing okay. She's doing slightly better, but it ain't leaps and bounds better. So I think for every instance of nepotism that works, there's an instance of nepotism, or there's actually probably for every one instance of nepotism that works, there's probably 2 to 3 that don't. Like the ratio is like 1 to 2, working versus not working with respect to nepotism. Having said that, I don't entirely hate this story when it comes to Bronny, because I put myself in LeBron's shoes, and I'm going to just be 100% honest. I asked myself, if I ran a company, would I put my son on before another person who's a stranger, who might be more deserving, who might be more qualified, but I want to give my son the opportunity, knowing I'm probably going to give my son the opportunity. I'm just being real. Like if I was in a position of authority, if I ran a company, if I was in the position to employ somebody, I would probably put my son on before I opened it up to the public and said, all right, let's let somebody in who's less qualified. Now, I'm going to give my son the opportunity to fail. If my son fails, You had your chance. You're done. Let's get somebody in there who's probably more qualified. But I'm going to fast track his opportunity to be able to get a bite at that apple. I know that I would do that. Now, here's the difference, though. Me being the person that I am going to put my son through the rigors to ensure that despite the fact that he has that opportunity, he's going to make the most of it and not be a total abject failure. LeBron cannot guarantee that for his kid because the NBA is the NBA. LeBron can't make Bronny grow 5 inches and become a whole different kind of basketball player. You're 6'1". Well, how tall is Bronny? What is he? 6'4", something like that.
6'1".
He is okay. So like you're barely taller than Chris Paul. So there's an aspect of this to where Bronny's ultimate success in the league isn't guaranteed. It's just not. So in the event that there is a failure of his career, is that going to reflect poorly upon LeBron? Probably not. But is that going to reflect poorly upon the idea that nepotism was justice served? Yeah, it ain't going to look good. It's not going to look good. And it's not going to look good for all the people who suggest that nepotism needs to go away. And I'm not here to argue on behalf of it or to argue that it needs to go away. I'm somebody who's kind of caught in the middle and saying, I do believe that qualified people should get the chance, that there shouldn't be this idea that I can put my people on even if they don't deserve it. But I also at the same time am saying if I'm in that position and I had the chance to give my son an opportunity, I would certainly try to give my son that opportunity. Like I know I would. But I would also see to it that my son reached the levels of qualification that would almost give him the best possible chance of being successful. Now, that's a far cry from the NBA, though. Because in the NBA, like I said, Bronny's success isn't guaranteed. Bronny does not have the predisposed genetic gifts that his dad has. So he can't grow. There's no food. He can't eat a senzu bean and grow 4 inches and become 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", and can dribble, pass, and shoot and see the court and do all of this stuff that his dad can do. So there's less of an ability to control the trajectory of Bronny's career. And like I said, in the event that Bronny's career doesn't succeed, it is going to do justice to the people who said, see that instance of nepotism right there? That was that was injustice served rather than justice being served. So for his sake, he better hope that it works out because it is not going to quiet the nepotism noise. But when it comes to the greater conversation surrounding the place that nepotism serves in the world, I get it. Because I would probably exacerbate the problem myself if I could. Maybe not when it comes to the NBA because I'm not in the NBA. But if I ran a company, if I was in a position to employ people and I could hire my kid and put my kid in a position to potentially succeed where someone else didn't get that opportunity merely because I didn't have a close relationship with them, I would probably exercise that privilege. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong, but I do think it is human nature. I just hope that for Bronny's sake, it works out in his favor. Because like you, I agree he ain't ready. He probably should have been in college for at least 2 years minimum. Now that he's in the league, he needs to be a G leaguer. But the Lakers are going to capitalize off of this for marketing opportunities and promotional opportunities and partnership opportunities, because you can't pass it up. Father and son playing on the same team together. He's going to have a roster spot. How many games he plays throughout the season, who knows? And that's the part of it that I think is rubbing people the wrong way, the orchestrated nature of it. So I totally get it. I'm not here to defend that part of it. I'm just saying in a vacuum, I would probably exercise the same privilege if I could. But I am also somebody who moves a bit different than LeBron. I'm going to make sure that my kid is being positioned to succeed rather than being positioned to just benefit from this situation independently. Hard to pull that off, obviously, in the NBA because there's a brief window, especially when you got LeBron trying to be this father-son tandem thing. That further complicates the issue. But for Bronny's sake, I hope it works out for him, because it's not going to be very quiet in the event that it doesn't.
Well, and that's my thing. Like, and don't get it twisted. And I know you don't, but you know, I'm not against Bronny. I don't think, there's people out here that's out here saying that the guy's trash and all this other stuff. And the guy clearly has tools. He just needs to be able to, play amongst, competition and, guys that are really good and hold his own. And that's going to take some time, in my opinion. And I don't think that that's something that he can't do. I think that, he's going to, those years that we think he should spend in college, he's going to be, figuring that out in the NBA. So I'm saying this to say that 5 years from now, when LeBron's not in the league, if, Bronny keeps trying, he's going to be in the NBA. And in my opinion, a serviceable role player, in my opinion. So I don't think that he ain't got it. It's just the way that this whole thing that went about, how it went about would rub people the wrong way. It rubbed me the wrong way. And and it started from his put on with his rankings. Then it was the McDonald's All-American thing. Then people want to talk about a cardiac. I'll give him that. I'm not, but you at USC and you doing your thing on whoop de whoop. But while you're there, you're not really doing much. You're quite pedestrian. And but there's still all of this hype still. And that's the part about it where everybody is watching this. This is like the JJ Redick thing, where it's like, stop lying to us and just do this. And just let Bronny play how he plays. Let him get ranked how he get ranked. Let him not get drafted if people didn't want to do that. And then just pick him up off free agency. But it had to be this story that his son was highly ranked, McDonald's All-American, got drafted. It's this whole story. That's the problem here, in my opinion. That's not nepotism. That's weird stuff. That's not just trying to put your people on. That's trying to make himself look bigger. And this is the weird part about this. And this is the part that everybody's witnessing and nobody likes. This is the guy that puts himself out in the media all the time. He's the one that's talking about last year or whatever that was when he's saying that my son can be a rotational player in the NBA now.
Right. Yeah.
He's the one doing all of these things. And this is the weird part about it, which is drawing all this attention. And again, with the nepotism thing, I could see if this was his business. I could see if he ran the NBA. He don't. And so
some say he does.
Well, yeah, him and Clutch, they're running the La Mafia over there. You know what I'm saying? Him and Rich Paul, because he's such a cash cow and they're leveraging that hard as hell. Which is all the more reason why we're never going to hear about LaBalco. Because at this point, the NBA is completely invested in this cash cow. And Adam Silver allowing all this collusion and all of this weird stuff, allowing Rich Paul to be doing all of this weird stuff, shenanigans, in order just to make this happen. And just for him to get drafted. This guy could have went undrafted and just signed him. But no, you need all this weird stuff. So it's not just the nepotism that's rubbing people the wrong way. It's how this whole thing's going down. And you're forcing this weird narrative on everybody. So yeah, is it going to be cool when Bronny throw an alley to his dad? Yeah, that's live as hell. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa, because Bronny got hops on the low.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, all of that's going to be cool or whatever. But once that nostalgia is over of, that's just kind of, whatever. But they're going to play this whatever. And so this guy is making sure he stays immortalized in some type of way. And that's the part about it that's corny and cringe. But hey, to each their own. People can have whatever they want to say. Of course, for my child or whatever, of course, I'll put my child on. You know what I'm saying? It'd be Tommy Boy 2.0. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't give a damn. This guy completely can run this place into the ground. Still my dog, though. So I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna put him in position. I'm like, hey, bro, if the family fall off, that was on you, bro. And I'll just tell him straight like that. But yeah, I'll still do it. So yeah, I get it, man. What else are you fighting for? What else are you trying to do? You got to put your people in position. So nobody's hating on that, man. If you are, you're weird. it's just the people out there that really tried to work their way into the league. It's people that work their way into something, and they're watching all this stuff go down, and they're like, "Hey, man, what happened to meritocracy?" that was never a thing, guys.
Yeah.
That was never a thing. And last thing I'll say is that I've also said that in the league, there's a hell of a lot of politics. There's dudes that's been that aren't in the league or at the very end of a bench that can outplay a starter. It's just that the starter is the one that got that contract first. So we're going to play this guy because he's making the money. You're not going to get any playing time. So since you're not going to get any playing time, you really can't put on display how good you really are. We'll send you down to the G League. You drop 30 a game. Another team assign you, but it's the same situation over there. You never really hear this dude. But I swear, if you give that guy 25 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever a night, that he can prove that he's an NBA caliber player. But he never gets that opportunity. And so there's tons of guys that fit that mold that has come in and out of the NBA, and some guys made it out of the NBA due to politics because of who they knew or whatever, who their agent was or whatever. And so those types of things do go on. It is a business. So we're witnessing the business aspect of this whole thing. And so, yeah, this is business. This is narrative. This is, we can sell this later. There's all kinds of stuff that's going on with this. So, in hindsight, the Lakers would have been foolish to not do this, because then LeBron just would have followed wherever and just did whatever. So, yeah, it makes sense for the bottom line. And that's what the NBA is anyway. They don't really care about the customer. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. I'm not hating on Bronny. I wish him the best, honestly. He's a nice young man. And I think he would be a solid rotational piece once he fully develops. But I still think that's like 2-3 years away from now. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think what everybody is discomforted by is the orchestration of it. I think that's what is rubbing people the wrong way. Because, I mean, nepotism in a vacuum, I don't think anyone is put off by that necessarily. But this has been an entire production going back years to when there was speculation that they were trying to make this happen. And it's just the coordination of it is what's, I think, rubbing people the wrong way. Right. And they're using nepotism as a way to sort of express that. People use Austin Rivers as a comp, but Austin Rivers was an NBA player. And he may have been able to, get on to the Clippers because of his dad, but it was a foregone conclusion that he was an NBA player. So I don't know that that's a direct comp, because Austin Rivers, when he was in high school, was the number 1 rated player in high school in the country. He was usually between 1 and 3, depending on what ranking you were looking at. And then obviously he got drafted Was he? Oh
shoot, I don't know.
What was Austin Rivers got drafted? I know he was a lottery pick. Austin Rivers was the 10th pick overall. So in 2012, you know what I'm saying? And he was a pretty prolific player at Duke. So you can't compare that to Bronny, who was never rated higher than 19th and averaged 6 points a game at USC and didn't really make an impact, and was the 55th pick in the second round. Like the juxtaposition between between the journeys of those two guys, I don't really think Austin Rivers is a good comp, even though you could make the nepotism claim if you wanted to. So I just wanted to put that out there, because there are certain aspects that are key in terms of the differences between their two journeys that make them different. But overall, I just think that people are rubbed the wrong way by how orchestrated this seems. But what else would you expect when you're dealing with the LeBron machine?
Orchestration, bro.
Yeah.
He's just like LaDrake. They both do the same. Yeah, they both do the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
Everything's a put on.
Yeah, it's not all dissimilar, honestly.
Let's see.
All right, so now we got Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, who is questioning why he doesn't have more BET awards, and is wondering whether he needs to make a baby boy movie in order to get back in order to get back in the good graces of the distributors of BET Awards. So Donald Glover, he was a presenter at the BET Awards recently, and this was more of a bit. He was doing his comedic thing. Fun fact for anyone who is not aware of this, but Donald Glover has done stand-up comedy before. I don't know if you know this, but he's done stand-up before. He's actually done stand-up specials. So Donald Glover does actually have a comedy background in addition to the rest of his, background in entertainment overall. And so this was intended to be funny, but you also can't put it past him to have been kind of semi-serious with this as well. So does it look like the screen isn't sharing there?
It's a spinning wheel over here, man. A spinning wheel.
Yeah, it's a spinning wheel over. It's a spinning. Wait, there it goes. Hold on. There it goes.
All right, there it is. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
All right, so this says Donald Glover laments his lack of BET Awards, jokingly asks if he needs to remake Baby Boy. While presenting the award for Album of the Year at the 2024 BET Awards, Donald Glover commented on the lack of BET Awards he's picked up throughout his career and suggested he has an idea of how to change that. Glover, who also performed a tribute to Usher alongside Keke Palmer on Sunday, June 30th, said he was really excited to be at the BET Awards this year, but he wanted to get some things off my chest first. This isn't personal, but I just feel like I should have more BET Awards, he said to Laughs. I'm serious. It's the Black Entertainment Television Awards. How much more entertaining do I have to do? Because it's just the math of the fact. The multi-hyphenate has been nominated for 7 BET Awards and picked up Video of the Year in 2019 for the Childish Gambino video, This Is America. At the 2018 BET Hip Hop Awards, he picked up the Best Hip Hop Video and Impact Track Awards for the same song and music video. So I'll go ahead and play this, and we'll go ahead and talk about his comments afterwards. If it plays, I might have to reshare another tab. Hold on a second.
Yeah, get that revved up.
Oh, it's gonna play.
Yeah.
All right, so here's Mr. Glover jokingly talking about what he thinks is a lack of BET Awards on his mantle.
No, can't hear it. Can't hear it.
There's no audio?
Mm-mm.
You said you couldn't hear?
Mm-mm. No audio on that.
Yeah, I don't think it's gone. Hold on, let me try one more thing.
Okay.
Because I got a little alert for whatever reason, but let me see if it'll play if I just close the tab. Because it was saying restart the browser, and I'm not about to restart the browser.
Yeah, more complex stuff, man. No more complex articles, man. Hey, man, we're trying to give you guys some fair use here. You know
No, I don't think this is the website though. I think this is my internet connection. I don't think that's complex.
Oh, what's that? Xfinity.
Let's try it again. No, what is this? Yeah, Xfinity. Let's try this again and see if this works. So
come on now.
All right, so here we go. All right, can you hear it now?
Let's see. Let's give it a try. Hold on.
Because it's just the man.
Yeah.
Fact.
Okay, so let me go ahead and full screen it. All right, take 2, guys. Take 2.
Yeah.
Because it's just the math of the fact. Because
see here. Uh-oh. We froze on right now. Hey. I don't know if that's JV wins or I. Hey, chat. Chat, we froze on right now. Oh, man. 'Cause, man, 'cause, 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 ' bro. Bro might have to reset this thing. As soon as he said take two, I knew it. It wasn't me. I was like, yo, technical difficulties. Most likely it's me. My internet connection is Spectrum. Boy, I think Spectrum and Comcast are the same company. I think they're the same people. They just got different names. I'm just go ahead and throw that out there. But yeah, man, as JV wins, go ahead and log this thing back in, guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Thank you guys for joining us. Whether this is the actual live stream itself or the post talk, where you guys are just catching us on them replays. And honestly, bro, them replays be going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's like dinner time. You just trying to chill. It's like, man, I'm just listening to these guys. You know what I'm saying? Kick the ball around real quick. Donald Glover. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably reiterate this when JV get back in, but Donald Glover, talented dude. Yeah, I was familiar with the fact that the guy is a comedian. That's how I was first introduced to him. Then I was like, oh snap, he raps too. Then he started getting into directing and all this other stuff. So all around talented dude. I think that it's one thing about him that it's just a little bit puzzling. It's like, he plays the game. I'll give him that. He's playing the game. I think he knows more than he puts on, but he just plays the Hollywood game. But yeah, man, they gave that boy the mic, and he was out there talking, giving a real comedy stand-up type of thing. So you guys gonna see the clip once we play it or whatever. But I thought it was spot on. I thought it was real clever, and I also thought that he should have hosted the show. It probably would have been a lot better. But then once the booty hole brown girls got on stage and started twerking and acting a fool, I think it still would have went off the rails. One thing about black exploitation television is that it's predicated towards not giving real artists, an award. I wouldn't say that Donald Glover's some type of earth-shattering recording artist, but I would agree with him and say that he should have got more. He should have got more BET awards than just one. So that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it a brick. But shouts out to the squad here. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, okay, I can dig that. So yeah, man, we're just gonna wait for JV wins to log back in, man. Dealing with Xfinity and them. But one thing about Donald Glover also is I'm not really too much of now the Mr. and Mrs. Smith show. He's more tolerable in that than he is in like ATL and stuff. Because ATL, it started off good, kind of, but then it went off the hinges, if you ask me. I got kind of lost. A little bit too trying to be boondocksy. I feel like he should just channel his energy a little bit better. But I think he's got all the talent in the world. I think he's a real cool dude. He's just him and a little off. And we need more. We need more guys out here that can do it all. Me personally, stand-up comedian, not so much. But hey, man, I'll give it a try. You know what I'm saying? Book me in your city. I don't know if I can do all of that. I'll probably do it every once in a while, but I wouldn't actually want to be like a full-blown comedian or a full-blown actor or a full-blown anything. Kind of like how he does things. So full-time podcaster, no way. I think one of the things that I'll do the most is like film. I think I'm gonna get into film and start like making my own type of movies. not the type that be on it's not Timu. What's that? What's the Timu type TV channel? Tubi. I might make something and put it on Tubi. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta create my production company name and make a small independent film. Cause one thing about me, I can act better than those people on the Tubi movies. And I think that's what Donald Glover has to do. I think he has to make a Tubi-esque movie. And like he mentioned, and you guys will see the clip, something like Baby Boy, where he's, representing some type of black strife that's going on in our community that, he really doesn't do typically in his type of art. Even though ATL is dealing with black people stuff, it's not the Baby Boy drama. I think if he got into one of those, love and basketball type things, where he's into like The Wood, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You probably do need to go down that road, make a BET movie. Would I watch it? Most likely not, but I still will give it a try. Hey, bro, I'm just out here just yapping and yammering, giving the people just some insights on Donald Glover. Can you hear me, Brody? Testing 1 2.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, one thing about it, bro. Hey, man, that's what I said, bro. Fair use, but we're not using that anymore. So
you get the filibuster of the year award for going on with that.
Hey, one thing what Trina said, filibuster that thing, boy. Or no, she said gerrymander.
Gerrymander. Yeah, I am in dire need of all kinds of things.
Hey, that's all good.
I don't know. That wasn't an internet problem. My whole machine froze and I had to restart it. I had to turn it off, shut it down, and restart it.
Yeah,
so that's never happened. That's never happened before. Don't know why that happened.
Bro, that happened to me. You know what I'm saying? In a Zoom meeting, like it was like right before an important Zoom meeting, bro. My computer's working fine, so I click on a window, open it up just to preview, make sure I'm presentable and all that. And then it's a couple minutes before the meeting start. I go toggle over to the actual meeting. My computer freezes. One thing about being late when you working at home, it don't make no sense, and it's inexcusable if you ask me. How you late to a meeting when you work at home, bro? And so yeah, man, I showed up like 3-4 minutes late to a meeting, bro. It was important, and but luckily, bro, they was filibustering themselves because other people didn't show up yet. But man, I was having a mini heart attack, bro, when that happened. But hey, man, this is all good, man.
All right,
this the community, bro.
Yeah, so we definitely all of this is gonna be edited out. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use the link from Twitter itself. Hopefully, this won't crash my whole system.
Yeah, let's fingers crossed, man.
Because it.
What we buffering
it's
now?
just the math of the fact, because it doesn't really make sense. I have more Grammys than Will Smith, which makes no sense. But I have the same amount of BET awards as Sam Smith. Does that make sense to you guys? Me and Sam Smith are neck and neck at the Black Entertainment Television. If I have to like do, I don't know, Baby Boy or something, just let me know. I'll have Jonathan May just put me in a headlock, shave my head. I'll do it. Because it's just the math of the fact.
Shouts out to Nori. Nori look like he got those
veneers.
Veneers. There you go.
Looking like Mr. Ed out there.
All right, so that was kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke where Donald Glover's like, "Hey man, where are my BET awards? I got as many awards as Sam Smith, who's not even black, and more awards than Will Smith, and more Grammys than Will Smith. That doesn't make sense." So what do you think about his comments there? He said, do I have to make Baby Boy Part 2? I'll get Jonathan Majors to put me in a headlock. But it's not like he's undecorated at BET. He's won stuff. I mean, like I read off here, he has been nominated for 7 BET Awards. He got Video of the Year in 2019 for This Is America. And at 2018, he got the Best Hip Hop Video and the Impact Track Award for also This Is America. So I think that he was just, trying to joke around. But do you think that there was more to this than a simple joke?
I think so. I think that I think he was basically, I think this whole joke basically was just saying, where's my flowers for being a black artist in the industry. And as I was mentioning while I was filibustering, the guy's an all-around talent. So he can act, he can rap, I don't know if he sings, but he does comedy. Now, I think he does all of these things. I think he raps better than all of those, by the way. I think he's better at rapping than he is at acting. I think he's better at rapping than he is as a comedian. But I think he's still an all-around talent that he feels as though that he's not getting the type of recognition that he deserves in the industry. And I think I just agree with that. I agree with that for somebody as talented as he is, he gets the recognition. Trust me, if he comes out with something, people are going to be paying attention. But at the same time, I think he feels as though it should be a little bit bigger. And that I agree with. And the Baby Boy joke, I agree that in order to be the person that broke the mold was the Peele guy, whoever made the Get Out movie.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah. So he broke the mold when it came to making a movie, a black person making a movie that was not a black movie. Oh, what do you mean by a black movie? Hey man, just cut on BET. Yeah, just cut on BET. Just cut on Tubi. And those are black movies. And why are all of our movies the same movie repackaged? Just trauma on trauma. Why is it that way? I don't know. You tell me. So his whole thing was, should I do something like that? Because he doesn't make movies. Whenever he's in a movie, whenever he's doing something like that, it's different. Even though ATL was black centered and stuff like that, it wasn't the same type of trauma promotion as, a Baby Boy is. So I think what he was doing was making a tongue-in-cheek joke, boondocks-ish, if you will, to say that, hey, do I got a jigaboo for you people in order for you guys to give me some accolades out here? Or can I just be who I really am and make good music? Hey, I get Grammys. I'm not getting BET awards. So with that, isn't this black exploitation television? I thought I was supposed to be the one that's getting all the awards. So at this point, man, when you're dealing with this corporation out here that really is not invested in the promotion of black art, but all in the promotion of black exploitation, then you're not going to be rewarding people out here who actually make some semblance of art. And one thing about his last album, I don't know if that was his last album, the one with that lady face on it or whatever. I mean, that was getting all kinds of rotations in the community. People kept playing that, and I'm pretty sure it's still in a lot of people's playlists. So the guy is talented, and he should get recognized by it. But again, when you're dealing with this entity called BET, they're going to give the Sukihanas all the awards, and the Lottos, all the awards, and not people out here that's actually out here trying to promote some real art. But what are your thoughts, sir, on Donald Glover? Was he being a little tongue-in-cheek there, or was there a little bit more seriousness to it?
So I disagree with you on one thing. You say you think he raps better than being a comedian, and he raps better than he acts. I don't. I think that he's a better writer than anything. So I don't know, like with the Atlanta show, he wrote a lot of those episodes.
Mhm.
He didn't direct them because the other guy directed them. The guy who, what's that guy's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. But he wrote a lot of those episodes. And I personally felt like Atlanta was a very, very good show. Um, you know, but so I bring that up to say that I believe that that was his best work. His best work happens to be in television thus far in his career, not in music. At the BET Awards, they don't really spotlight television like that. Like I'm looking through the categories. The closest that you'll get to it is like they have an actor and an actress category. And he's obviously never won the actor category for at the BET Awards. So because in my opinion, this is my opinion, his best work has been as a writer of television. And that's not necessarily something that's spotlighted at the BET Awards. I can understand why he has not been acknowledged at the BET Awards. Because let's be honest, at the BET Awards, it's mostly a showcase of music. And when it comes to music, I would argue that Donald Glover, for the most part, exists outside of what is popularized black music. And we talked about this with Lenny Kravitz. Why don't they have country music categories at the BET Awards? There's black country music artists, right? If this is a celebration of black culture, black people make country music too. Country music is not acknowledged at the BET Awards. Therefore, black country music artists will not be acknowledged at the BET Awards. Same with rock and roll. We talked about Lenny Kravitz. There is no rock and roll spotlight at the BET Awards. Therefore, the litany of black artists who make rock and roll music will never be acknowledged at the Black Entertainment Television Awards. Because even though they make black entertainment, they are perceived to exist outside of the parameters of traditional black entertainment, which for all intents and purposes is rap and hip hop. And you can sprinkle a little R&B in there as well. But in my opinion, I think R&B has kind of eroded, and I think all of it has just been lumped into hip hop. I think even R&B has just kind of been lumped, like it's all been lumped into hip hop. So I'm not surprised to see Donald Glover having not been recognized at the BET Awards. The kind of hip hop that he creates is not necessarily something that I think would be acknowledged at the BET Awards. Now, if the BET Awards figures out a way to incorporate television or expand film and TV, then I think he has a place in it. But if he wants to get recognized musically at the BET Awards, he's going to have to start making Lil Baby music. He's going to have to start making Drake music. He's going to have to start making Meek Mill music. That's what he's going to have to start doing. And if he does not want to get with the program, he's going to have to live with the fact that he's not going to be recognized at the Black Award shows. You know, his best work, I kind of went down the list here. And these are all of the awards that Atlanta has won over the years. Writers Guild of America Award for Best New Series, 2017. Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series, 2017. He's the lead actor. Writers Guild of America Award for Best Comedy Series, 2017. Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series, 2018. Television Critics Award for Individual Achievement in Comedy, 2017. Television Critics Association Award for Outstanding Achievement in Comedy, 2017. Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, Television Series Musical Comedy, 2017. Golden Globe Award for Best Television Series Musical or Comedy, 2017. NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Directing in a Comedy Series, 2017. Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Award for Outstanding Cinematography for a Single Camera Series, 2018. Peabody Award for Entertainment, 2023-2017. So, in my opinion, his best work has been acknowledged. It just so happens that his best work is not acknowledged by the Black collective of award shows. And I'm being facetious, of course, when I say this, because it should be, but it isn't. So, like I said, BET being, I guess, the example of the acknowledgement for Black art in entertainment should expand its categories to include more than just music if Donald Glover wants to get acknowledged. Otherwise, if we are just relegating it to music, unless he is going to change up his tone and start making, you know, simp rap, trap rap, drug rap, gun rap, pimp rap, or, you know, so on and so forth, unless he starts making that kind of stuff, he's not going to be acknowledged by these people. He's going to need to call up 50 Cent and ask 50 Cent how can he make the best version of, you know, drugs and guns and prison shows. And maybe then BET will acknowledge Donald Glover's contribution to the black arts. Otherwise, I think Donald Glover serves himself well to just, you know, enjoy the lanes in which he is acknowledged.
Yeah, and I think this was also just tapping into that argument of he's not black enough, and I'm not black enough for y'all to be considering me for things. And you know, it is what it is, man. You know, I still think that you know, it was a joke, but also in the sense of, hey, man, you know, I be getting accolades. You know, people are watching and paying attention to the art. You know, what's up over here? And I think that was all. I think that was not so much to BET, so much as it is to everybody. Of, hey, man, you know, I want to be accepted over here too.
I think he is with this. I think the Atlanta show, you know, if I'm being reasonable, the Atlanta show was it was very much a mass appeal thing, but it was also within the community highly respected and recognized.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't think that means anything for the awards institutions, unfortunately. But like I said before, the Grammy, not the Grammys, but the Golden Globes is a big deal when it comes to award shows. So is the Screen Actors Guild Awards and Peabody's and all of that. Those things mean something. But obviously, you know, when this is an ongoing conversation that we can continue to have until the cows come home. But black entertainment nowadays does denote something specific. You know, unfortunately, it does. And in the connotation of that specific thing that black entertainment denotes, it tends to excuse people like Glover, just like it excuses people like Lenny Kravitz and black country music artists, unless your name is Beyonce, apparently.
Yeah, but why do they excuse him?
Because they're perceived to not be black art.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And and for whatever reason, that's what I'm saying. He was speaking to that you know what's going on here to anybody that thinks that he's not. And I still think that, because that's what I said, in the community, that last album, I don't remember the name of it, but the one the black lady face on it, and it was like basically like a vagina. And that one was getting crazy spins in our community. Like, so people mess with him. But yeah, he doesn't get recognized by the institutions. Right. So yeah, but hey, man, that's what I said. It's BET, guys. I mean, that is the clown show of clown shows. And you guys saw what they did. Like, me personally, I didn't watch it, but you know, all the coverage that I seen from it was just absolute minstrel show behaviors. So I don't even know if I would care if I got a reward from a minstrel.
Right, yeah. If I were, yeah, exactly. If I were him, I wouldn't care either.
Which is, to me, which makes it like the most tongue-in-cheekish of it all. Is I mean, I got Grammys, guys. I don't really need your BET awards, but come on, guys. I'm over here. Like, give me BET awards. Like, me and Sam Smith shouldn't have the same amount. And I agree.
Yeah. Shouts out to Donald Glover. I appreciate his work. I do.
Yeah, I think he's a talented dude.
Yeah, he's a great writer. I'll say that much. He's a great writer, and he did capture a lot of things through that show that aren't captured very often. So I give him his credit for that. But yeah, good luck getting acknowledged by these shows. You know, they'll give Lil Baby 1,000 BET awards before they give anything to Donald Glover. Next up, we're going to talk about Yo Gotti I guess he's defending Angela Simmons. I think he was just making a situation worse than it needed to be. But there was some controversy with Angela Simmons at the BET Awards because she showed up and part of her outfit she was wearing, she had a like a purse or a handbag that was fashioned in the shape of a pistol. And so, these days that's going to get the internet outraged. And so people kind of went crazy over it, criticizing her for not being sensitive to, victims of gun violence and overall just being insensitive to the notion of what bringing such a thing out publicly would invoke. And then, her man, Yo Gotti, tried to make light of the situation, suggesting that it's not a big deal. She's just trying to get some practice in. So there's a bit of controversy here because, it's an instance of a social faux pas playing out in real time where Angela Simmons had to retroactively apologize for bringing this thing with her. And then here's Yo Gotti trying to mop it all up. So this says Yo Gotti doubles down amid Angela Simmons gun purse controversy. Angela Simmons recently stepped out for the 2024 BET Awards, rocking an unconventional accessory, which has since sparked a great deal of backlash. Photos of Simmons posing with a bedazzled gun-shaped purse circulated online shortly after the event, and many social media users weren't feeling it. She later clarified that she in no way intended to offend anyone and simply liked the bag's design. "I'm not violent," she explained. "I've obviously been through a lot in my personal life when it comes to gun violence, and it's very personal to me." Simmons also took to Instagram to issue a heartfelt apology, revealing that she deeply regrets her decision to carry the purse. Now, Yo Gotti has taken to his own page to address the fallout. He seems to be taking a drastically different approach. So there's his post on Instagram. It says, "She just practicing, LOL." In an Instagram story posted earlier today alongside a series of gun and laughing emojis, that was what Yo Gotti left. While fans can't blame him for standing by his girlfriend amid the controversy, some think that he went about it the wrong way. After all, she just issued a formal apology for the purse, which he's now seemingly condoning. He's left social media users split and debating about whether or not Simmons even deserved any backlash in the first place. So, some people are coming to her defense saying she didn't even need to apologize. Others are coming to slander Yo Gotti, saying that he made the situation worse. I'm not exactly sure why she would do this, but Penny, for your thoughts on Yo Gotti's double downing of Angela Simmons wearing her gun-shaped handbag or purse, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, man, I don't see anything wrong with it. Well, I don't see anything wrong with Yo Gotti, excuse me. Coming to the defense here with his, typical I'm a goon boss talk. He's got to stay in character. This is part of his job. The thing is with Simmons is, well, when you're showing up to the Jigaboo Awards, you gotta make sure you're decked out. Now, I saw some clips of some people in wife beaters at the event. I saw people that weren't sitting in their seats. They're just in the aisle. I also seen other strange shenanigans, crazy outfits. Crazy in the sense of it looked like they ordered it off Temu. No real effort into it at all. It was real low grade. And if this was supposed to be a display of Black excellence, I don't think this type of behavior would be going on there. So it's not a venue for Black excellence. Actually, it's a venue for, as I mentioned in the last one, Black exploitation and minstrel behavior. Why not bring a purse that's shaped like a gun? You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I'm surprised she's the first to do it. So I think that she was right in pocket. I think she fell right in line with the crowd she was with. Now, if Miss Simmons and Yo Gotti got invited to, let's say, the Grammys, do you think she's bringing that purse out there?
Of course not.
You think she's going to make that kind of mistake? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend. You think she's going to make that level of mistake? I don't think so. And this is a problem that I have with our community, is that we're way too comfortable with our community. And we're willing to do stuff like this to our people, but wouldn't dare do it to anybody else. And it's that whole thing of, I could disappoint you because you just you. But I can't disappoint these other folks out here. You know, they might look at me strange. So for her to be getting online criticisms, whether it be from people who want to play the overly sympathetic, overly victimized card and try to guilt her for gun crimes, because that's, you know, or if it's just from people like myself who think that she's out here looking like a damn fool. She needs to be hearing this. The community needs to hear this. So yeah, I'm here for the reprimanding. But if she was indeed trying to be one of the biggest minstrel acts of the award ceremony, even if you want to call it that, then she wins an award for that. So I think I'll give her a pistol shape award, saying congratulations. But what are your thoughts, sir, on Miss Simmons bringing a Glock to the BET Awards? You down with this?
Yeah, I hear everything you're saying. I'm trying to share it just so that we can get a bigger look at it. Wait, there it goes. Yeah, this is the day of JV Wins' technical difficulties, that's for sure.
Struggle scrolling today.
Yeah, so there for anyone who doesn't have the full body there. So that's the outfit in question, and that's the person. First of all, I mean, I don't even understand what I'm looking at here. That's not a purse. What can you put in that? Like that doesn't even look like
your phone going in the not the barrel, but in the damn
clip?
The clip part.
There's no room for it in there.
You put your mascara in the barrel. You know what I'm saying?
I guess I hear what you're saying though, and that you make a very good point. If this was the Grammys, if this was the Oscars,
no way.
There's more of a prestigious nature to those events.
That's right.
Therefore, you're not going to sully the namesake of those events by bringing that kind of a accessory with you, even if you don't mean anything by it, and you believe you're being respectful, you will still think twice about doing it because you will know that it's going to stir up controversy whether you mean for it to do so or not.
Correct.
So for her to have done this suggests to me that she did it genuinely not believing that it would stir up controversy. Correct. Because I'm at home with my people, so why would this be an issue?
Correct.
You know, and it gets misconstrued as stylish. But at the end of the day, as we've seen, the internet leaves no stone unturned. So there were people who had an issue with this. I like you think as well that it is on brand. I'm not surprised by it. I've seen worse at the BET Awards, and there will be worse even beyond this.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But I hear what you're saying though, and I do think more people need to heed that. Like there needs to be a certain level of elegance attributed to even these award shows, to the point where you feel as though fashioning such an accessory is beneath it. I mean, you know, but that's just my opinion, I guess. I will say this about Yo Gotti, you know, because he comes from that no accountability, I'm from the streets, I do whatever I want life. You know, Angela Simmons is corporatized. You know, Russell Simmons' son. She's a shoe designer. I mean, son. Russell Simmons, not Russell Simmons. Rev Run's daughter.
Oh, okay.
who's Russell Simmons' brother.
Okay.
You know, that's as corporate as it gets, I would think, when it comes to the hip hop industry. She's also a fashion designer, a shoe designer. She's in bed with corporate partnerships. Um, you know, I'm pretty sure. And so he can't be canceled because there's nothing that can be taken away from him in the corporate sense, but
Mhm.
she certainly can.
Mhm.
So I think he would be wise enough to take heed of that and be a little more careful when it comes to how he is defending her in capacities like this. Although I think she's learned her lesson, she'll probably never do something like this again. But in the event that that does happen, a canceled individual can only be canceled because there is something that can be taken away from them.
Mhm.
Gotti is one of these guys who's not cut from that corporate cloth where something can be taken away from them as penance for a perceived wrongdoing. She is not in the same boat as him in that
Mhm.
regard.
Mhm.
She can have her company taken from her. She can have her name sullied in a way that is unkind. She can be canceled in the way that people become canceled in 2024. So to make light of it by saying she was at practice, even though you were making a joke, bro, the internet is undefeated. So I would just say to be careful because I see what he was doing and I'm not offended by it, but that does not mean that the internet wouldn't be offended by it. And yes, she might be Angela Simmons, but one too many faux pas can get anybody caught up within the hamster wheel of cancellation. So I would just say to take heed of that. But I think your overall point is the one that people need to take away from this more than anything else, because I concede that, and I didn't think about that, but I would have to agree. If this was anything else, she wouldn't have done that.
Not
You
even
know,
close.
she's in the fashion industry. You know, she wouldn't have gone to what is that stuff, the Met Gala
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
any of those fashion festivals that are overseas. I don't think she would have done that. So it bears the question, why do it at the BET Awards? I think that's a very good question.
Yeah, I mean, well, she's got a tough guy fetish. She's, she want to be Bonnie and Clyde. She want to sit around like, yeah, I'm dealing with a boss. And I'm his bottom bad B. That's what all of this was about. Just trying to look hard. You know, and that's why he say, man, she just practicing, y'all.
Right. Well, the thing about it with him saying she just practicing, that's on brand for him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's on brand for him. So he just being consistent.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But these corporate interests know that they be at ball games. They be at the Memphis Grizzlies games. Like, she walks around with this dude. So, but so I think it's kind of one of those things where, yeah, he can't go too far with this. I think him playing it off like that is good enough, but he can't go down the line, which he hasn't. He's a low key dude in the first place. I mean, he got some stuff swirling around him in Memphis anyway, but he stayed low key, so it's whatever. So I think he'll still stay out the way now. And I think she did learn from this. Or maybe, we'll see what kind of engagement she gets from this, and she might pull some stunt later. So who knows with this woman or these people, bro, who go to these events in the first place, bro, because mind you, their overall objective is to you call it attention grabbing, attention seeking. So if they're trying to get my attention from something that I'm already doing, then they're distracting me. So these people act as distractions as they are. She had a great distraction prop. So we'll see if she does something like this again. But that's what that whole event for was in the first place. And we need better. And that is not the pinnacle of Black excellence. BET is nothing close to that. So for anybody out here that's like, man, this is our award show, it's not our award show. All right, this is an award show that's being run by corporate interests who think this is the vision of Black people. That's why they got girls twerking on stage. I don't know what it smelled like in that gymnasium, but I'm pretty sure it was crazy with all that goddamn twerking going on. All right, yeah, it smelled like Magic City in there. I don't think it smelled like an established award ceremony. I think it smelled like Magic City. Ass cheeks and goddamn flower spray-ons. So Hey man, best of luck to these people. Yo, Gotti. Hey, stay low key, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stop with the shenanigans, man.
Gymnasium.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? What they doing in there?
Gymnasium. Oh god. Perhaps the Black Entertainment Collective needs to target practice a more elegant award show.
I think
That's something
so.
that's something that they can shoot for. No pun
They can do
intended.
that. Bah, bah, bah.
And Mr. Schoolboy Q found Joe Budden, Freudian slip, Joe Biden and Donald Trump's golf exchange during the recent presidential debate quite entertaining. For anyone who did not watch this sideshow of an event masquerading as a presidential debate, I watched the entire thing from beginning to end,
Oh, that's great.
and I was embarrassed by it. There was a point near the end of the debate in which these two guys who are vying for the highest honor in the land legitimately for a brief period of time started to debate about who was better at golf.
That's right.
It did that. This really happened. Donald Trump accused Biden of lying about his handicap. Biden said he's more than willing to play golf with Trump so long as he's willing to carry his own bag. This is what that debate devolved into. And Schoolboy Q was having a laugh at this. And his reaction to this particular portion of the debate is what we are going to talk about here real quick. So this says Schoolboy Q couldn't believe Donald Trump and Joe Biden's golf debate. First of all, okay, all right. Like most U.S. citizens last night, which was June the 27th, last Thursday, Schoolboy Q was in tears for two reasons while watching the Joe Biden and Donald Trump CNN debate filmed in Atlanta. The first of which was due to the comically bizarre and ridiculous interactions between them, and the other owes itself to sadness over the state of our country. Specifically, Q joked about our last two commanders-in-chief comparing their golf games. And as a big fan of the sport, he's probably got a lot more to say than this. They talking about golf. I'm crying, bruh. Biden ain't no 6 handicap, dog. Trump definitely cheated during the club championship. This shit hilarious, he added. Let's see. Along with another tweet that responded to a fan's reply, quoting the following quote from Trump, one of two hip-hop approval-seeking presidential candidates in 2024. I've seen your swing. I've seen your swing. So Schoolboy Q is not really having it. There are the tweets there where he was kind of just making a big joke of this whole thing. I don't know what the deal is with like the capital H's and I don't know what that is. What's with the capital H's in his tweet? I don't understand that. Is there
that's on Hoover, bro? That's on Hoover. I said that's on Hoover, bro.
What the hell is Hoover?
Come on, man, Crip, bro.
It's another app.
No, Hoover Crips, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, educate me. I
Hey, I was just guessing too. I don't know, but that's probably what.
That's why I ain't gonna be at the BET Awards anytime soon. I don't know that. Let's see. So yeah, that just go and so the debate kind of continued on between Trump and Biden talking about golfing, and we can read the rest of that article if you want. The link will be in the description of this video. So yeah, Q made a joke about them talking about golf. I've never seen anything like that. I've seen a lot of presidential debates throughout my lifetime. I never saw the two presidential candidates going back and forth about their respective golf games. So what did you make of Schoolboy Q's reaction to the golf exchange between these two individuals, who are one of which eventually is going to be leading this country?
Bro, it was literally my same reaction. I could not stop laughing. At that time, I was preparing a meal. I had some chicken marinating. I was already boiling the sweet potatoes. I was about to start frying up that chicken. Not frying it up, but you know what I'm saying, stovetop baking it. And as I'm doing my marination process, I'm sitting here, watching it or listening to it as I'm cooking, and there were several, I mean, just amazingly comedic moments that happened between these two. Um, the facial expressions that Joe Biden was making throughout was priceless, bro. Between that stunned look of what am I doing here and what the hell did he just say about me was just absolutely comedy gold. Um, at one point, I was like, man, this is like an SNL skit. But then I thought about, I was like, this is better than an SNL. I haven't laughed this much at an SNL skit since probably like the early 2000s. So this was to me absolute comedy gold. And now this is anytime you guys watch me talk about politics here, I'm here for a good show. Now I don't, and I also mentioned that I don't think dementia's funny, but the whole fact that they're sitting here rolling this guy out like we're idiots and saying that he's running the country is comical. People who defend this guy or wanted him back in there in office just to avoid some boogeyman, that's hilarious to me. And I also saw like some footage of like some older people, reacting during the debate. The cringe these older folks, these are like older people, AARP in wheelchairs and stuff like that, American stuff, but clearly they were going for Biden. And they were just cringe. They just showed like cringe, like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Or the faux pas were on point, bro. 5 out of 5, if you ask me. I don't think anybody can faux pas harder than this guy was doing. So once it devolved into handicaps and who's got the better golf score, who's got the better swing, I was like, oh yeah, this is even pettier than I thought. The thing was all about petty insults and petty jabs more than about facts. They would ask him a question about what color is the sky. He'll start telling me what color the ground is. They was just talking about anything they wanted and nothing about the debate. All kinds of mudslinging and no politics. My type of debate. I was rolling the entire time. So when Schoolboy Q was sitting there with his laughing emojis, and by the way, I didn't even notice that the H in his Schoolboy Q was always capitalized. So that's always a thing that he's done. So didn't know he tweeted like that too. It's a little, I don't know how he gets into I guess he's used to it. But yeah, man, I agree with him 100%. This is funny, and at the same time, because when you laugh, there's also the crying part. The back end part of this is we're absolutely roasted, bro. We are in deep trouble, bro. We are in deep trouble. If these are our two options, we are roasted. So what are your thoughts, man, on Schoolboy Q reacting to what people are calling a debate? Me personally, I call that absolutely comedy gold. But what are your thoughts about it, sir?
Yeah, it says Schoolboy Q capitalizes all his H's and everything, and I'm fairly sure it's because he's from Hoover and wants to underscore his origins, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, you're right. I think that we should do away with the general election and just have them golf for the presidency.
Oh, that'd be live.
Yeah, like they should just, we should like no more electoral college, popular vote, whatever. Get rid of the ballots, get rid of the voting. No voting this year. For the first time in the history of this country, President of the United States will be decided not by a general election and majority of the electoral college votes, but by a golf game. Because this whole thing is embarrassing to me. And we might as well just lean into the clown fiesta that it has become. Hey, man, and just have them golf and just have them golf for it.
I think that's a great idea. Have them golf for it.
I remember I was watching an old episode of the TV show Everybody Loves Raymond. And in the show, the two brothers, they're arguing back and forth because their mom is a pain in the ass. And they got onto this conversation about who's going to have to be burdened with taking care of the pain in the ass mom when their father inevitably dies first. And so they were going back and forth, saying, I'm not taking her, oh, I'm not taking her, oh, I'm not taking her. And then they settled on, let's golf for it. The loser has to take her. And eventually it ended up flipping because they became guilty because they were trying to like golf to see who could avoid taking care of their old mother. So they eventually flipped it to whoever wins the golf game gets her. But the point is, such an important decision as who gets to take care of the mother, the matriarch of the family, was trivialized down to whoever wins the golf game. Y'all might as well trivialize this. And I am somebody who, despite being a cynical individual, still maintains that there is some pragmatism inherent in participating in the political process. Like, I am as cynical and pessimistic as it gets. And I can be quite apathetic given certain subject matter. But as apathetic as I can be, I still hold out some kind of hope that you should try to be involved in some of these things because some of it is important, specifically when it comes to like local elections and the things going on in your local community. But even me being somebody who's holding out hope that one should participate, can't help but feel a sense of shame watching some of these things play out between these guys. One guy looked like he completely lost his train of thought every time a question was asked to him. And the other guy literally refused to answer any questions directly.
Boy, that was
literally
crazy.
Literally. Like he got asked, this guy, Orange Man, got asked direct questions and he just never answered them. Never answered them. And the amazing thing about that is, despite the fact that he never answered any question, he was deemed the winner of this debate. So it's embarrassing. I find it embarrassing. And if you had to strap me to a chair and ask me which, you got a choice to make. You can either watch another debate or you can have the election settled with a golf game. I'm going to say, bring me the golf game. I'm going to say, get my popcorn ready and let me watch the U.S. Super Senior Open Tour on one of these networks. And the winner is going to be the commander-in-chief. So all that goes to say, I found it to be just as much of a joke as Schoolboy Q did.
Yeah, man, that's a great idea. I didn't think about that, but knowing Biden, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna have like some remote control ball. It's gonna have some crazy backspin. It's like, bro, like this man ain't put no backspin on the ball like that. So I don't know if I want that going on either. Then Trump's gonna say he spiked the ball. Yeah, he cheated. You know, he's gonna have his. You know what I'm saying? He was in the bunker. You know, how did he get out? You know, all this other stuff. But look at this guy. But man, hey man, when Trump hit that guy with super predators, he said, "These are the same people you call super predators." Man, Biden's face, bro. Man, that was absolutely great. So I've actually rewatched some of it for more laughs. So I don't know if a golf game it would be better than another debate, to be honest. So I can't wait to the next one. This is must see TV, man. This is, and also at the same time, America burning before our very eyes, bro. So I don't know what the trajectory of this country is in the next 3 years. It is looking outrageous right now. And if this is what we have to choose for, yeah, bro, it embarrassed the whole nation, bro. The world was laughing at us before, but man, after this, why not take everything they got? That's who they got running their country. Yeah, boy, you don't want that. So we'll see what's going down, man. But Schoolboy Q, I'm with you on this one, brother. This was absolutely great.
Yeah, he addressed this on Twitter. He said, "Why my H always capitalized? High power hippie Hoover, heaven and hell, aka my life." So
there you go.
I did not know that. Ooh. That has to be exhausting. Like every time you typing out stuff, you got to make sure that you cap the H. That's a lot of work.
And it's muscle memory at this point. It has to be.
Yeah, it probably is. He's been doing it for long enough.
Mhm.
Yeah, that we gonna go ahead and end it on that note, man. Just settle the whole damn thing with a golf game. Why not? I mean, what else do we have left at this point? It's crazy. It's crazy. But there you have it. Excuse my technical difficulties. If you are running this video back, not on stream, but as an individual video, obviously you won't be able to tell because that's just going to get cut out. But JV wins, Dogon SS, another conscious approach video in the books. I am on Instagram at JV wins, JVWINS. Conscious Approach is on Instagram at Con Approach, CONAPPROACH. Check us out. Facebook, check us out wherever your podcasts are available. We are in the building in full effect. Thanks to everybody who has been joining us. Thanks to everybody who's been hitting that subscribe button. We certainly appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who appreciates the content that we like to put out there. This is not a cult. So we are not shooting the shit on this channel because we think we are right about everything, nor do we think we are the foremost experts. This is a fair market society, and it does not cost anything to get on YouTube. So we just get on here to express our opinions, no more, no less. So don't take it too personally and don't take it seriously. Otherwise, please think for yourself. And hopefully my Miami Heat makes some kind of free agent splash because thus far it has been very quiet.
Just like the last 3 damn 4 years, boy, I swear.
Yeah,
But hey guys, make sure you guys like and subscribe too, by the way. And for everybody that has already liked and subscribed, as my boy JV Win says all the time, we greatly appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys more than you guys already know. But until the next time, guys, as I say on every pod, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it pure, and don't let anybody get you off your pivot. Make sure you follow me over on TikTok as well, Dogon_SS. I'm posting videos now, man. You know what I'm saying? Memes and all, man. Look out, man. Follow your boy. You know what I'm saying? But until next time, guys, we'll catch y'all in the next
one. We out, man. Peace. Settle that thing with a golf game. Might as well.
I'm gonna go to Top Golf.